Hello guys, I wanted to do a vlog, well sort of a vlog, but mainly just talking about something that kind of just struck me today. I don't know if that's the word to say it, but basically today was PAX Australia 2015, and today was the Friday, and it's gonna be a long vlog, so just warning you in advance. But yeah, basically the thing I want to talk about in this video is basically I went to see Warren Spector. He was having a panel at 10:30 in the morning on the Friday. I'm so glad I went on the Friday because what happened was last year I went on the Saturday and the Sunday, my first time to PAX. But and on Friday, Richard Garriott, who made Ultima, was doing a talk on Friday, and I was like spewing that I didn't get to see him. Oh well. But this time I got to see Warren Spector. So when I was in high school and in early uni, one of the most famous game developers was named Warren Spector, and he's the game that he one of the games that he was very famous for making was, my friend Vu and I used to say Deus Ex, Deus, but now I heard Warren Spector actually say it today. It's Deus Ex, Deus Ex. So that's how. It must be from the phrase Deus Ex Machina or something like that. I don't know what that means, but I saw. Anyways, so basically, I was really keen to watch his panel. So in the morning, I got ready and I made my way down there. And luckily, I got there with enough time to get there comfortably. Like, so I made his panel quite comfortably, which is good. And it was actually really cool. I mean, interesting because the panel was filled up almost. We were near the back, so I'm really glad I got to see it. The big main theater as well, main stage. Anyways, the topic that he was talking about, I'm going to say all the stuff that he talked about, basically. I'll try to, because I want to capture it and memorize it, because it's one of those things that is really influential to me, I think. I find. Basically start off saying that, what are video games? I don't even know how to start. Basically, he said, where he began was he used to have Dungeons and Dragons. He used to play pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons with this guy, and it was so much fun, like having a story that you would all contribute to. Like he goes, Dungeons and Dragons was so much fun because you were part of the story, you were helping to make the story, and it was so much fun like those days. And he was saying, uh, yeah, and then he talked about the history. Briefly, he talked about the history of games. How at the start it was very simple games, and every new game was like a original, innovative, because it was the first everything. This was like the first time they did this, first time they even when games were trying to copy other games, they couldn't get it right, and it would still be original and stuff like that. And at the start, nobody cared about video games, like the general populace. And I remember this as well. Like I definitely remember this. Like it was games were basically just things to keep kids amused. Like I mean that's what mostly games were. People thought of games were and stuff like that. Whereas nowadays it's like it's a big entertainment industry. Like it's as big as movies and stuff like that, or bigger apparently. Um, so he was saying how like yeah, it was so original those days, and yeah, everything was innovative, and it was really really cool. He went through all that stuff, and he goes one of the things that he did when he was working on Ultima 5, 6. He helped make Ultima 6, which is one of my favorite games. I love Ultima. So he helped work on that, and he and Richard Garriott were saying how their aim was to make it so that every puzzle could be solved at least two different ways and stuff like that. Except for there was two puzzles that um, they couldn't you couldn't do you could only do one way, and that was this puzzle where they had this like portcullis, which was like a gate, and and on the other side of it was a lever, and the only way to flip the lever was if you knew the telekinesis spell. You could make that lever flip, and then it would raise and you go through. And then he was watching some of the playtesters play it, and then this playtester didn't have telekinesis, so he was thinking to himself, "Oh, this guy's screwed. He's gonna be stuck." But what happened was, in the party, he had one of the characters was a mouse named Shelly, and the mouse, the way they did the game engine, this mouse was smaller. So with the game engine, the guy switched to the mouse. The mouse was small. It went through the portcullis, and it flipped the switch, and the gate opened. And Warren Spector said he fell off his seat, or like he just said that was the most amazing moment he'd ever seen anybody do in a game ever. And and every game he's made since has just been trying to recapture that moment where the gamer does something that he didn't predict, and he didn't program it in to be like that, and they just, because of their creativity or something, they do it their own way, and it's just like that. So he was saying that, and then like later on he worked on Ultimate Underworld and stuff like that, and he went on to say some other thing, and then he got to Deus Ex, and he said once again, the whole aim of the game was just to make it so that people could solve it how they wanted. And yeah, and he goes, one really cool thing was like yeah, like there's puzzles in the game where they didn't plan it to be like that, and apparently a year later after it was released, one guy, he was watching a let's play or something, and this guy set up all these explosives, and with one pistol shot he did this, and it solved like 3 puzzles all at once. And Warren Spector was like, oh my god, I can't believe he did that. Like, it was like amazing to him. And so he was basically saying that he doesn't like it when games are like kind of like, well, in one way, sometimes games are like they wish they were movies, you know, like they just wish so hard that they were movies. Like when you're playing it, it's like trying to be like a movie, and it's just like you're just kind of like following along the steps and stuff like that. But there's no real freedom and stuff. And so he's saying there's some games that have like low levels of the player. I don't know what word he used, but let's just call it player contribution, you know. And he listed some examples where it's basically you don't really have freedom. You're just kind of following along what the game designer said, and basically, what he was saying was like it's like the game designer's got kind of an ego. It was like, here's my genius, you know. He puts it down, and you're trying to experience what he did, like, you know, what he put. And then there's other games where they kind of give you, he called it medium uh, input, where it's like they give you the kind of the impression that you've got like freedom, but really it's kind of like, you know, you can either do this or that, but kind of, you know what I mean? There's some games where you can shoot this or shoot that, you know what I mean? Like it's not completely free. And then he goes, there's games with high level of player expression. Like he lists some examples, and some examples he lists were like fighting games like Street Fighter. He goes, like, no two game is ever alike. It's like when you play that game, no one else is like you. Every movement you do, everything you do is your expression of what you're thinking. Like, um, and he said, MOBAs, games like League of Legends and all that stuff are like even same thing. Like it's so creative. Like every player, no two games are alike. Every player puts themselves into the game. Yeah, it was really good. And things like The Sims, of course, where it's like so customizable. Everything you do is just like player generated, like the storyline, which kind of reminds me of like something that I have thought a long time ago. Like I really love the MMO Star Wars Galaxies, because in that game you really could do whatever you wanted. You made the story, the players made the story, whereas other games where they kind of like tell you what to do, like you do this, you do that, you know what I mean? They lead you by the hand. So I really loved the Star Wars Galaxies method. Um, and he also said like games like World of Warcraft were also very expressive as well. Like he was saying, like, you know, each person gets to be their character, and they do what they want with it, you know. Yeah, so I really liked that. Made me think actually. And he said, yeah, like it's like he loves it when they're telling a story, but the story is individual between each player and the developer. You know, like the developer makes the rules, and then the player within those rules creates their own story, kind of thing. I really like that idea. Yeah, like he was saying how some games he doesn't like. He actually listed a few games, and he goes, like let's just say, which is a very popular game, but Uncharted. He says basically it's like a movie. You're kind of like, it's very good, but you don't have any freedom of expression. You're just kind of like following along with what they're doing and stuff like that. Um, yeah, so so things like that. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but basically it really hit home to me this what he was saying. He was saying that. So I'm thinking about this on the fly. Anyway, but basically he was saying yeah, it's like we're at the start of this kind of like it's a medium. Gaming is a medium, and it's just at the infancy. You know what I mean? Like, so he goes, everyone in this room can contribute to how this medium develops. Like he goes, a lot of games nowadays they're just, you know, like sequel after sequel after sequel, and like, you know, he just doesn't like, it's just like the same game with better graphics, you know, but can't we just try to like push it and explore, you know, different things, you know what I mean, like that kind of stuff. And he's saying like when you're at home, you're a gamer, you can vote by buying the games that are good, you know, like, you know what I mean, like otherwise if you just keep buying the crappy stuff, they'll just keep making that, things like that. I don't know, but yeah, the main thing I really got from it was that, oh, also like, because I do let's play videos, and he was saying like, and it just made me think like, when I play a game, from what he said, it's like the way I approach, me and everyone else that plays the game, the way you approach the game is individual to you. So it was really cool that it made me think like that. Like before he had said this talk, I was just, my impression was like, here's the game, there's a pathway to go through it, and if you want to finish the game, you just follow that pathway or something like that in a way. But now he made me realize that the game is that like that way, but the way you approach this game is very individual to you. Like the way you play it and the way you do things is like nobody else does it like you. And it just made me feel, it made me want to, when I play games, just to have fun with it, explore, you know, just express myself through playing the game. Like, you know, I might like to look at the scenery or do it this way, you know, which I do notice I do in my let's plays. I try to play it, just, yeah, enjoy it and stuff like that. But it just made me really think about it. And yeah, it made me, yeah, I really like it. So now when I'm playing a game, I'm not just thinking, okay, I have to do it this way. You know, I could just approach the game however I want because it's my way of playing it. So I don't know how to express what I'm thinking, but these thoughts were bubbling away in my head after I heard this speech. I really, really, really liked it. There's probably more I want to say, but I think that's the gist of it. Basically, what I took away from that is that I really like games. I probably will try to look out for games that aren't just funneling the player into a certain way of playing and not letting them express themselves. I think I'll look for games that let me, like he was saying things like Minecraft is amazing, whereas like you can just do whatever you want and kind of thing. It's like, which I haven't played Minecraft much, but yeah, I don't know. I'll look out for that kind of stuff, and also when playing games, I'll just know that when I'm doing things, it's fine to do whatever I want. You know what's interesting? After going to that panel and thinking about it, when I was at PAX today, even when I was at PAX in real life, I was just thinking about it and just enjoying the fact that the way I approach this convention and what I do, it's like in what he was saying in the game. I get to express how I want to do PAX, you know? Like I can go check out this, I can go check out that, I can look at this, I can, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it just gave me like a license to just do whatever I want in a way that, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it, but I am so glad I went to his panel. It just kind of, it's like you didn't know this door was there, and then suddenly he just unlocked this door, and there's a whole other world or room there now, or something. Or he's like, there's been a device that has been no batteries or something. Now suddenly there's batteries and you can use it. I don't know what to think, but I really am glad I went to that panel. I don't know if I expressed it, but I really wanted to get on video just so I can rewatch it and feel inspired again, like later on if I forget or something like that. So the gist is basically when you play a game, you're expressing yourself, you're creating a story, you're interacting with the developer to create your own story. What he liked was like games where sometimes the ones he'd made where people had completely different experiences playing the game. Like there's Deus Ex, he's played a game, he made it so that you could go throughout the game without killing anybody except for there's two people that you had to kill, and then someone wrote into him and said, no, I finished the game without killing anybody. And he's like, you're lying. And then the guy sent him the let's play or whatever, and then he's, oh my god, and he somehow finished it without killing anybody. Yeah, and you could also finish the game by killing everyone. So he was saying how it was really cool how you could have a game and just everyone that played it had a different Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls games. He said were really good with this as well, like letting you create your own story. So he was saying how oh, I lost the track now. But yeah, I don't know what to think of it, but I really am glad I went to this. And just my day was better after going to this panel. Just I was just enjoying the fact that whatever I wanted to do, that's what my expression of the day was. That's what I wanted to do. So now I'm going in circles. So I think I'll end it with that. And yeah, very glad I went to that panel.